The editors of Cook's Illustrated magazine. It's America's Test Kitchen.
Some folks will only eat a rare steak. Other folks prefer their steak well done. Not that well done. But there's no disagreement about what happens to steak as it cooks. The longer it cooks, the drier it gets, until eventually it'll be overcooked.
Ooh, question.
Yes, Larry?
If a steak gets overcooked, how do you undercook it back to be more rarer?
Wow, that's a question I can't answer.
Oh, man.
Anyway, the question is, when you cook a steak, why does it get dry? Well, as meat reaches temperatures of 110 degrees and higher, the proteins in the meat start to contract and expel moisture, turning the meat drier as the temperature increases. A thick steak has even a bigger problem. When cooked over high heat, a grill for example, the outside of the steak is very hot and dry before the inside even comes up to temperature. This results in a desiccated outer layer, even though the inside of the steak might still be medium rare. So what's the solution?
Ooh, I know.
Yes, Larry?
You just grill the inside of the steak first.
You're on a real roll today, Larry.
Really?
No.
Won't be that way.
The solution to this problem lies in the science of steaks. The first problem to solve is one of exterior moisture. A steak that has a lot of moisture on the surface will take a lot longer to cook. It also makes it more difficult to quickly develop color and flavors on the outside surface of the steak. Professor, please explain.
When a steak has a lot of moisture on the surface, all that moisture must evaporate before the steak can then heat up above the boiling point of water. So it's literally like only heating up to the temperature at which the water will vaporize. In a dry surface steak, you don't have to evaporate all that water, so right away that temperature can heat that protein up much faster, much hotter, and you'll have these colors and flavors forming very, very quickly.
So the solution was simple. Simply preheat the thick steaks in a relatively cool 275-degree oven rather than cooking them in a skillet or over the grill. This reduces the amount of surface moisture, which means less time spent on the grill and less chance of overcooking the exterior layers. And by chance, we discovered one other benefit to this process. It's like a turbocharged version of dry aging. Professor?
There are enzymes in meat that slowly break down the proteins. So raw beef, once it is dry aged, these enzymes will break down the protein and soften it. They break down muscle fiber, they break down the connective tissue, which can tend to make meat fairly tough. Enzyme activity is affected by temperature. Now, most enzymes actually become less active as you warm them up, but some of these enzymes that break down the protein in meat that lead to tenderization become more active as you warm them up to about 120 or 125 degrees Fahrenheit, and then all of a sudden they stop. We call this being the protein becomes denatured. It's no longer active. But up to this point, the protein and the enzymes become more and more active so that you can actually speed up the tenderization process by heating up these enzymes.
So pre-cooking thick steaks in a 275-degree oven keeps the outer layers from overcooking and activates enzymes in the meat that make steaks more tender, helping turn this piece of steak into this piece of steak. Any questions?
Ooh, I got one.
Yes, Larry?
Yeah, can you quickly explain how exactly high calpastatin activity inhibits indigenous enzymes and how that may affect tenderness?
You know, I could, and I would. But unfortunately, Larry, we're out of time.
Oh me, oh my, oh you, whatever shall I